All right, what is good, everybody? It is your boy Champagne Chico, and today we are going to be simulating the career of BIJAN Robinson on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, yes, he is at RB1 right now. He has Cordero Patterson and Tyler Algier at RB3 right now. We put him at the forefront for the third down running back and power back, just so he really gets all the reps that he can get. If they end up subbing him out, I can't do much about it for these first few seasons. But after that, I think that he'll probably get more of the snaps over Tyler Algier anyways. So right now, about the same as what you guys already know. Taylor Heinicke, Desmond Ridder. I mean, Desmond Ridder should probably be starting here. Drake London, Matt Collins, Scotty Miller. Solid wide receiver core, not crazy. I mean, Drake London is the only bright spot in it. Kyle Pitts. Matt Collins had some of his good games, though, last year and with the Dolphins. Grady Jarrett, AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, Lorenzo Carter, Bud Dupree, Richie Grant, and Jeff Okuda, all on defense. We're just going to have to see how everybody does. I'm not controlling anything, but we will be looking at BIJAN Robinson's stats and how the Atlanta Falcons do overall throughout his career. All right, so they're 3-4. We're mostly going to be worried about the stats of BIJAN overall. I would hope that he's doing pretty well. He is the leading back, 514 yards and 5 TDs, so they kept it as is for us right now. So that's great that they're not trying to touch that at all. 3-4 for the Falcons, though, isn't the best. 22nd in offensive yards and 27th in defensive. So the team overall is just kind of mediocre right now. We're going to have to see how they finish off the season, but I don't think this is a season that they're going to be excelling. They're probably going to take this as a rebuild year and try to build off of it to possibly get a quarterback in this next draft. And they end off the season 8-9. We'll go ahead and take a look at the roster and see how Bijan's doing overall. He is an 81 overall, so he jumped up for sure. Getting those reps in the 3-down back and the power back helps him a lot. Cordero Patterson was at a spot next to him in a specialist. Is that another running back slot? I don't think so, right? There should only be two slot wide receivers. Cordero Patterson. That is interesting. We're going to take a look at Bijan's stats in terms of yards and things like that. 29th in offensive yards for the Falcons and 21st in defensive. Bijan past 1,000 with 1,100 yards and 13 TDs. We're not changing the playbook or anything like that in these simulations. We're simulating as if it is the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not touching it. I'm not doing anything with it except for looking at these stats, seeing how Bijan does over time, and seeing if he leaves the team maybe. We're going to have to see, but they didn't make the playoffs. 8-9 isn't even a top pick either. And the Falcons currently have $48 million in cap to deal with. They could make some moves. We're just advancing to the draft to see what happens in terms of the transactions that we're going to be able to see right now, and see if they start building around Bijan or if they're going to be looking for a QB in the draft coming up. This is the 2024 NFL draft class. So hopefully they're able to maybe move up or just get a decent quarterback at where they're at. Maybe even Caleb Williams like the Falcons rebuild that we did. But I'm leaving it up to Madden CPU to do that. They only spent about 13 mil. That's not a good sign so far. That is not a good sign so far. We're going to go ahead and go to Falcons and see if they made any moves. They signed Alan Lazard. Okay. And they signed Lorenzo Fatukasi at left end, and a middle linebacker. Calais Campbell retired, so that's what gave us some cap space as well. And we released Taylor Heinicke, so we said screw Taylor Heinicke, Desmond Ridder is our starter. All right, we'll see what they do in the draft. I'm just going to simulate past the draft and see what they end up doing in the offseason recap. And they did not end up going for a QB, but they got Denzel Burke, who's a 75 overall cornerback. Not bad. They got a defensive tackle that's a 73, and that's really about it. Cornerback isn't a bad decision to make. It's just we have to deal with Desmond Ridder for another year. For some reason, I didn't look at the players that they had to negotiate with at the midseason point last year. But BIJAN is up to superstar, and for some reason is at the fullback position. We're not doing that. He's going to be starting at the running back position at superstar. There's no way that I'm going to allow that. Drake London, Alan Lazard, Cordero Patterson still on the team, but down to star. Defense looks solid, looks good. I mean, Burke is going to be the CB4 for a while. Yeah, they just have to adjust with what they have right now. Grant's up to stars, so a lot of bright spots as of right now. We got to go to the midseason mark. This time we will look at who we are going to have to negotiate with, or who the CPU is going to have to negotiate with in this BIJAN Robinson simulation. At the midseason mark, we are 4-2. BIJAN could be doing well right now. Depends on if they moved him out of it. They didn't. 84 overall. BIJAN Robinson. They let go of Cordero Patterson, it seems, or he retired, maybe. We're going to have to look at the transactions now, since he just disappeared. And the Falcons ended up... They could have released him because the Seahawks released. They did release Cordero Patterson. They believe in BIJAN Robinson and their future. And we're going to take a look at who... Actually, I can't even look. I don't know why I forgot that from the last time. We can't see who they're going to have to negotiate with. But 29th in offensive yards still is kind of bad. And defensive, we're second. BIJAN has 387 yards and 7 rushing TDs. Why does he have so little? Or compared to last year, I mean, he's still projected to be an award winner. So we'll have to see what happens with that. I think we still have him in all the right positions right now. We're 4-2. I don't think we're going to be able to get a QB to replace Desmond Ridder this year, necessarily. They have us all the way at the bottom getting an outside linebacker. So, yeah, we're going to have to worry about that in the future in terms of free agents or things like that. And we'll stimulate to the end of the season and see how the Falcons do with BIJAN Robinson at RB1. We end up making the playoffs with an 11-6 record. Let's see if BIJAN Robinson kept improving. He is now an 86 overall, still a superstar, but still performing well. We have to see what the stats look like and if we have to adjust the running back roles again. 16th in offensive yards and 13th in defensive. I think I saw 1,000. Yep, 1,100 yards and 9 TDs for BIJAN. I got to change him back to the power running back because Tyler Algier has the most touchdowns, which he shouldn't. He should just be a backup right now. But we're going to change that before we get into this playoff game and simulate through it. Yep, they changed him back into the power back. We're not doing that. We're trying to give BIJAN the most stats possible for his career. We're going to simulate past this week versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 9-8 with Vita Vea, and we move on to go against the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round. They are 11-6 as well, as we try to go to the NFC Conference Championship, and we don't make it. We lose by less than a touchdown to the Dallas Cowboys. That's unfortunate, but it's still only BIJAN's second year, so there's a lot of potential left. And with having $82 million to spend this offseason for the Falcons, they could make some big moves, but none of our players win any awards, especially not BIJAN. Marvin Harrison winning Offensive Rookie of the Year on the Seahawks. That's an interesting pairing right there. We're going to go ahead and go to the draft and see if they make any moves this offseason. And it doesn't seem like they made any moves. We have still $90 million in cap space, so that's not going to help us at all to build around BIJAN Robinson right now. As, yeah, nobody was signed. More people were released than signed. We released our kicker. That doesn't make any sense. All right, well, not building around BIJAN, but we're going to have to see what they do in terms of adding to the roster. Maybe for the drafts, these are always a hit or miss because, especially since we made it to the divisional round of the playoffs, and we're advancing, trying to see what we end up getting in the late round of the first, maybe even the second. If it's not anything, that's going to be unfortunate for us, because then that's a bad offseason for us in general. And we get a 72 overall. I think that was a wide receiver. All right, and in BIJAN's third year, which will be the last one that we stop at the midseason mark, just to make this go a little quicker, the midseason mark isn't necessarily necessary. BIJAN is up to an 87 overall, superstar. Everything's looking kind of solid right now. Brinkley was actually a hidden development wide receiver, so that's good. The line looks solid. The defense still looks kind of solid. I mean, we lost a left end that we signed. I guess he retired, maybe? Grady Jarrett's only regressing. Jeff Okuda. We lost A.J. Terrell. We didn't re-sign A.J. Terrell. That's a big L. Okay, we're going to simulate to the midseason mark, see how everything goes, and then after that, we will only be simulating through the entire season. And we're 3-4 at the midseason mark. I'm assuming BIJAN is going to be at the same overall for right now. It might need to take some more additions to the team. 88 overall isn't bad. Kyle Pitts is a superstar X Factor still. We'll take a look at the stats for the last time at a midseason mark and keep it pushing. 8th in offensive yards and 14th in defensive. BIJAN, 471 yards and 8 TDs for him, since he is the third down running back and the power running back, and also the RB1. So 3-4, not horrible. What does the mock draft look like in terms of what are the top picks? A lot of defensive players and offensive line players. There are some QBs that we could possibly get, like Philip Woodward or Andrew Barnett, but they have us taking a left tackle. We're going to have to see what happens at the end of the season in terms of our record and how BIJAN does. And we end the season 8-9. So we go from a playoff team last year to an 89 overall for BIJAN Robinson, but out of the playoffs this year. We'll just look at BIJAN's stats. We're not going to worry about the team stats, as we are 5th in offensive yards. 1,000 yards and 11 TDs for BIJAN. I feel like they keep moving BIJAN out of the power running back position, so hopefully they just let Tyler Algier walk at some point, because he just seems to keep taking that role from him, and I'm not... I can't be going there every time to take him out every single time. So, gonna simulate through the offseason. I'm assuming that BIJAN didn't win any awards because he only had 11 TDs. So, we're gonna simulate through, see if they make any moves with 88.6 million. We actually have 122 million, so keep that in mind as we go on. We're going to check if any Falcons players got any awards, and of course we didn't. Oh, Tyler Boyd's on the Ravens now. Jeez. Okay, well, simulating through the offseason. Let's see if we make any moves. And we made absolutely no moves again. This is bad, bro. This is very bad. It can't always be the draft. It's so bad. It's so bad, bro. Okay, we're going to simulate to the regular season. If we see any pivotal players in terms of rookies, then great. If not... All right, BIJAN's up to a 90, and Desmond Ritter's up to a 75 now. Maybe that does help out after all. Brinkley ended up going down to normal development. Defense, nothing. So it seems like none of the rookies really mattered in terms of what we got. Disappointing. Very disappointing. We got some tackle. We got a tight end. I mean, there's just not much to be excited about right now with nothing being built around BIJAN. So we're going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season, see if we make the playoffs. And we ended up going 12-5. Maybe BIJAN went up even more and carried the team. 93 overall, and Desmond Ritter's up to an 80. Okay, we're picking it up. We're picking it up as a dynasty right now, to be honest with you. I guess the Falcons fans in the comments section were right about Desmond Ridder. Stats and awards, 9th in offensive yards, and 1st in defensive. Okay, wow. Rushing, 1,300 yards and only 4 TDs because they keep switching him out of the power running back position. I'm trying my best, dog. For the people that are saying, oh, he's not getting enough TDs because you're not putting him in power running back. I'm not stopping every week to do that shit. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, but 12-5. We're trying to move on from the Cardinals in the wild card round, and we do that. We're facing the Carolina Panthers against Brian Burns. They're also 12-5. Trying to move on to the NFC Conference Championship, and we don't do it. We don't do it. We lose to our division rival, and we lose in the divisional once again, getting blown out. 2026 is the last year on BIJAN's deal. So we'll see what he ends up deciding to do, whether he comes back to the team or he moves on. If he moves on, we're going to have to move teams. And once again, no moves. We're still at 122 million. I don't know what they're waiting on necessarily, but We're going to look at the Falcons just to make sure. Cam Robinson actually came to the team, and so did Russell Gage back to the Falcons. Romeo Dobbs, wow, okay, Geno Smith, Connor McGovern, I underestimated you guys. Peyton Turner, Deion Jones, okay, Monty Rice, Zadarius Smith, okay, well, Jake Matthews retired, so that's an L for us, but we got some pretty decent signings. I guess we had a lot more money than I thought, so we're going to go to the new season and see how everything goes. At the start of the season, BIJAN is down to star development. Desmond Ritter's up to a 77. We basically replaced Jake Matthews at the left tackle and got Rice at the right tackle. Good thing is Tyler Allgeier's gone. So BIJAN is going to have the power running back reps and the third down running back reps. And we're going to simulate to the end of the season and see how much of a difference that makes. And we are the definition of inconsistency, 8 and 9. Let's see if BIJAN ended up going back up in development trait, and he is a 94, but still a star. So they're trying to replace him already. So he might be on the move if they don't sign him this offseason. Oh, that's not going to be good for us. 11th in offensive yards and 12th in defensive. 1,100 yards for BIJAN and 9 TDs. Okay, well, we're going to have to see what they end up deciding to do in terms of trying to get him back, maybe. We have to see. Hold on. Let me take a look at the contract for BIJAN and see if they already re-signed him, maybe, just so we can be relieved off of that and not have to make ourselves get fired here. Oh, they signed him. Oh, they most definitely signed him until 2032. Wow. He has 6 years remaining on his deal. I'm sure that's whenever he's probably going to pack it up at the end of that. We'll have to see, though. I think he's like, what, 24 now. So 6 more years, he'll be 30. Maybe they sign him for another year after that. Who knows? Who knows, really? We are going to go to the offseason, try to see if they do anything. If he doesn't win any awards, you're not going to see anything about the awards and all that stuff. I think we made any significant moves. I only saw the cap go down about 5 mil. So I don't think we added too much to the team. We got Shaq Thompson on the team. We got Spencer Brown. We got a middle linebacker. We got Antoine Overeem. We got Greedy Williams, Skylar Thompson, Gabe Hall, Sam Williams, CJ Henderson, Demarius McGee, and Broderick Faulkner. We released Russell Gage. Okay. Wow. Interesting choices. Interesting choices overall. We continue to not really hit on any rookies, and that's the main reason why you haven't seen anything with the rookies, because this is a BIJAN Robinson career simulation. All right, we got a left tackle. That's a 75 overall, so that's a bright spot. And Damian McDaniels at a 72 overall. He's probably not going to be that good, but we needed to fill in at that position. And BIJAN is a 94 still a star. Humphreys is injured. That's interesting. We're going to simulate to the end of the season and see how BIJAN does this year and see how the Falcons do. And we end off the season 10 and 7. BIJAN might still be at a 94 overall because he is at star. Oh, he's up to 97. Wow, and Kyle Pitts is a 99 overall. And the defense looks solid, so maybe this is a good year to make a push. As we are 10 and 7, we'll take a look at BIJAN's stats on the year. 16th in offensive yards. We're going to take a look directly. 1,207 TDs for BIJAN. That is pretty good. That is pretty good for BIJAN. I'm glad that he's doing well. And now we have to see if we move on past the Panthers, who seem to be a kryptonite of ours right now. But we're going to simulate past this week and try to make it to the divisional. And we can't win against the Panthers. Wow. We have $183 million in cap. If we don't do anything with it, I don't know what to say. And we once again made minimal moves in the offseason. I went to the wrong section. We're going to have to see what they did. We're still at $184 million, so I'm assuming it's nothing huge for the team right now. as the Falcons got Garrett Williams and Steven Kinchin. And that's about it because Shaq Thompson retired. And we released a bunch of other players. Oh my gosh. And at the start of the regular season, I'm going to start showing the awards of other teams at this point and the off-season awards because at this point, nothing's really happening with this team. BIJAN with a 96 overall. Still a star. Still kind of mediocre as a team. We haven't made any significant push for a conference championship or a Super Bowl right now. Just going to have to see how they do now. All right, and we go 8-9. Basically, how this whole simulation has been going. It's been back and forth and back and forth. There's just not much to do right now. 99 overall for BIJAN with morale. Wow. Okay. Prove me wrong then. Hopefully you can push that into next season. Gonna look at the stats and see if he ended up performing as well as the stats say he did. Rushing 1,500 yards and 7 TDs. Almost 1,600. That's wild. That is wild. That's a hell of a season right there. But it means nothing because the Falcons didn't make it to the playoffs. $222 million in salary cap is absolutely outrageous to not spend it. And the Packers win in Super Bowl 63 with Brett Perkins. I mean, we're getting to a point of people that we don't know, but I'll name the people that we do. Miles Sanders, Offensive Player of the Year, and Miles Murphy, Defensive Player of the Year on the Dolphins. That's what I wanted to happen in real life, but Miles Murphy didn't make it out the first round and couldn't really get him in the second where we were at. So it is what it is. And we dropped 12 mil, so maybe we did do something this year. Maybe we did. And I keep going to stats and awards because I'm an idiot. And we signed basically a bunch of filler players to the team. I don't see anybody, and we released Garrett Williams, but I don't see anybody that we would know. We're already getting to the point that we did with Bryce Young in his rebuild. This is bad. And BIJAN is back up to superstar at a 97 overall. I'm taking a look at his stats and contracts because I need to see how many more years he has. He has until 2031, so we've gone through 3 seasons of his contract, his second contract now, and we lost Desmond Ridder. All that waiting and developing for no reason, and Kyle Pitts is injured. I could have sworn I turned injuries off. I don't know why it still has it on, but you know what? I'm leaving it as is. Because at this point, that's as realistic as it's going to get. And people love realistic simulations. So that's what we're going to leave it at. And we end up going 8-9. We're just having back and forth seasons, man. There's just nothing to say about it. There's really nothing to say about it. 99 overall, BIJAN Robinson. What else? I mean, it's just BIJAN on the team at this point. It really is. It really is just BIJAN at this point. Because we have 200-something million in cap, 11th in offensive yards. BIJAN 1,300 yards and 13 TDs. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. We're gonna simulate to the offseason, see what the awards look like, and see what we end up doing, if anything. And in the 2029 season, the Raiders beat the Packers. TJ Watt wins Defensive Player of the Year. Josh Jacobs wins Offensive Player of the Year. And Jalen Hurts wins NFL MVP on the Washington Commanders. Wow. Okay, we'll take a quick look at everything else before. The Steelers beat the Eagles. Nothing stands out there. The Saints beat the Raiders. The Raiders have been there a bit. The Chiefs beat the Lions. Interesting enough. Bills beat the 49ers. The Bills finally win their first Super Bowl after making it 5 times. The Bengals beat the Eagles. Von Miller wins Defensive Player of the Year and Justin Jefferson. So this is the second year, and this was the first year that the Cowboys won against the Browns. Don't know how the Browns made it, but, you know, Madden. All right, yep. It's just getting to a point that I'm not even going to look at these transactions because we don't make any moves at all. And I tried to look at sliders to see if there's anything that I could change. If you know of anything that I can change for these sliders, I would do this again. I will do this re-simulation again, or just simulation in general. We got a middle linebacker, and that's about it. We got a strong safety. Other than that, again, doesn't really matter much. We're going to simulate past this. Nothing's going to happen in the draft. And we're going to see how BIJAN's next season go, because we're just going to go to the end of next season. We made the playoffs 11-6. We have to see if BIJAN is still at the same as he has been these past couple seasons. 99 overall superstar. Wow. And Bentley's up to an 82 star. Okay. We already replaced Desmond Ridder. We weren't worried about him anyways. Stats and awards. 4th in offensive yards. Our rookie looks tremendous right now. Rushing. BIJAN with 1,400 yards and 14 TDs. Award winners. His player tag. Did he win an award this year? We're going to have to see in the offseason, as the QB does pretty well. 40 TDs and 14 interceptions is not bad at all, but we're going to simulate past this series against the New York Giants. Series? Thinking basketball. This game versus the New York Giants, and try to move on to the divisional, and we will move on and face the Arizona Cardinals, who have Jalen Carter on their team, who was rumored to go to their team at one point. Unfortunately, the charges that the teams started going crazy about, even though I don't think it was much of his fault in terms of the situation that he was in. But nor here or there. We're going to advance to the NFC Conference Championship and try to see if we make it. And we don't. We lose to the 8-9 Cardinals. This team is ridiculous. And as we are entering the last year of BIJAN's deal, he wins Offensive Player of the Year for the first time in his career, and Lucas Van Ness wins Defensive Player of the Year on the Packers. And the Cardinals actually won it all, so that makes us feel a little bit better about it. But man, I wanted to win it. And it looks like we spent some money now. Let's go ahead and take a look. That was about $20 million off the cap, unless I'm tripping. Because if not, that's going to be a big letdown right now. Falcons. George Winkler. I'm looking for the big contracts, and there's really none. There really is none. Bunch of minimum, bunch of small contracts. Look, if you can tell me, for real, if there's any sliders to affect that at all, this is bad. This is bad how they're not doing anything with the $190 million in cap. I was about to say, I didn't see BIJAN at the top of the running back depth chart, but he's injured right now. And he's in the last year of his deal. Hopefully his injury isn't too long, because that might affect his contract negotiations. And he's out for 2 weeks, so he's only out for the preseason. So that's not bad. He's going to be back by the regular season, and we're just going to simulate to the end of it and see if they end up re-signing him. And we make it to the playoffs with a 12-5 record, and Jalen Carter's up to Superstar X Factor on the Cardinals. Let's go ahead and take a look at BIJAN and see if he's still at the same. And he's still a 99 overall. He is still a 99 overall. Let's see and take a look at his contract. And they signed him until 2035. Wow, okay. They're signing him for the rest of his career, basically, at that point. He's going to be what? Like, he's 30 right now, maybe? He's 29. He's going to be 35. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be here for a little minute here. But 83 overall quarterback as well. Looking good overall on the offensive side. The defensive side kind of looks the same, really. Stats and awards. I'm really worried about BIJAN. 3rd in offensive yards. I'm worried about BIJAN in terms of him succeeding in this. 15th in defensive. 1,700 yards, but 10 rushing touchdowns with 300 carries on the season. Not bad. Not bad at all for BIJAN, but it is top heavy for our team. 87 overall offense. We have to see if we make it past the wild card versus the Arizona Cardinals, who have a good defense, and we make it past them. We actually do pretty well against them compared to past seasons, and we're facing the Dallas Cowboys now, who are 12-5, trying to get on to the NFC Conference Championship, and we can never make it to the NFC Conference Championship. The Texans win a Super Bowl against the Cowboys, and C.J. Stroud wins Super Bowl MVP. Jonathan Taylor gets Offensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett gets Defensive Player of the Year. Arthur Smith, our coach, wins Coach of the Year. Don't know how that happens. And another offseason that we don't spend a damn dime on any good players. Wow. $200 million for absolutely nothing. $200 million for absolutely nothing with this team. Wow. And our quarterback is up to a superstar X Factor. BIJAN is still a 99 overall. This could be something. This could be something. I mean, our defense is mediocre at best, but our offense is pretty good. It's pretty good. We got to see what happens this year. We got to see if we make it to the playoffs once again. And we went 9-8 at the top of the division somehow because of a wild tiebreaker. Two other teams in our division went 9-8, and then our worst team in the division went 8-9. BIJAN still a 99. Quarterback is an 88 overall. Let's look at BIJAN's stats on the season. 5th in offensive yards, and our defense was 29th. Wow, that sucks. 38 TDs and 12 interceptions for our QB. 1,300 yards and 13 TDs for BIJAN. Still has the award winner tag, so maybe he won another Offensive Player of the Year. But we're going to simulate past this wild card round against the New Orleans Saints with superstar X Factor Chris Olave on their team. I don't know if Derek Carr's still on there, but we lose to them by a touchdown. And the Saints go on to win it all with none of our players winning any awards. I don't know how big of a window we have to win a Super Bowl. And we're definitely not making it to a Super Bowl with no signings. I'm not even looking at the transactions. There's no point. We went up in cap. There's no point. And BIJAN at a 97 overall superstar. Still on the team. Still kicking. Still kicking. We have a really good offense. Just a really sorry defense. Oh my gosh. And we end the season 10-7. We got to take a look at Bijan Robinson's contract right now. He is a 99. Still pushing right now. Still pushing. Age 31. 11 years into his career. We have until 2035. Maybe he retires at that point. It really just depends on how fast he regresses. But overall, the team is doing pretty well in terms of the offense. The defense is still mediocre at an 80 overall. I wish I could jump in and just sign all the defensive players. But 7th in offensive yards and 8th in defensive. BIJAN had 1,400 yards, almost 1,500 with 13 TDs. Absolutely insane. Let's try to simulate through this game and see if we beat the Green Bay Packers in the wild card rounds. They were 12-5, we were 10-7, and we lose. Oh my gosh, this is sucking right now. All right, in the 2034 season, we go 12-5. If this doesn't end up panning out, I'm basically just going to be going to the end of Bijan's career. 5th in offensive yards and 10th in defensive. Bijan had 1,500 yards and 10 TDs on the season. Okay, wow. It just depends. It really just depends on if we beat the Seahawks right here. If we move on to the NFC Conference Championship at that, and we're not. It's not even worth it anymore. All right, 13 years into his career, we are in 2035 with Bijan Robinson. He's down to a 91 overall. Could be his last year. Could be his last year as a Falcon. Drake London is gone. Kyle Pitts is regressing. Bentley is on his way up on the team, but he's about to lose all his weapons right now. I mean, there's not really much to do right now, but just to hope that Bijan finishes off his career correctly, and if not, basically a failed simulation, but could be the view for the future. All right, 12-5 is the final record for the Falcons. Let's go ahead and see what, if anything, happened with Bijan and the contract. He's still a 91 normally. He's a 94 with morale, and he has another 2 years on his deal. So this could be a year that he gets a Super Bowl finally. It just depends on how everything goes. And if he doesn't, simulating past the wild card against the Washington Commanders, and we beat them significantly. 13-4 are the Green Bay Packers. Did we look at Bijan's stats? 14th in offensive yards, and 18th in defensive, 1,400 yards and 17 TDs for BIJAN is very good. And it's very good for us because hopefully he can push us even further. Are we going to be able to make it to what we've been infamous in not making it to? And we made it. We made it against the Arizona Falcons. Arizona Cardinals. That's what tells you how tired I am. Holy shit, we're hopping into this game. And the Cardinals do start off with the ball and end up not getting much as we get a big reception for a touchdown. The Cardinals go downfield and get 3 points up on the board. 7-3, we get a turnover and it's 14-3. They finally get a touchdown. It's 14-10. And we get one before the end of the half. 21-10 right here. The Cardinals trying to go downfield. 21-17. We're trying to get some points up on the board, but end up punting it to them with enough time for them to go downfield. 12 seconds left, 8 seconds, and they're not even going to get a field goal on it. 21-17 as we get ball first, and BIJAN gets the rushing touchdown, a long one too, and we get a pick with Jarvin James. 28-17, another rushing touchdown by BIJAN Robinson. He wants this badly. 35-17 as the Cardinals try to go downfield. They do get a touchdown. We get a big reception to get another touchdown. 14-31 as the Cardinals go downfield and score. 3rd and 14. We're going to have to settle. Oh, BIJAN with another touchdown on the day. And that's the dagger there because there's no way they come back into that. 56-31 is your final score against the Cardinals to move on to the Super Bowl. We are beating all the teams that we couldn't beat in the past years. And we're facing the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, who basically have a bunch of auto-generated players. We really, really want to win this one. And the Broncos start off with the ball, but end up punting it to us, and we have to punt it right back, and they get the first points up on the board, 3-0. As we try to stop them, we get the pick, and we might get something going here, and we get the first touchdown, 7-0, and we get a pick again, 14-3. Oh my gosh, we are starting off good right now, but we turn the ball over, punt it. We didn't even see any green go on. 4th and 7. We get the ball back. 2nd and 10. Convert again. We're getting close with 18 seconds left. 8 seconds left. 5 seconds left. And we're settling for the field goal. 17-3. And we start off with the ball and are not able to do anything with it, but we get the turnover and the quick touchdown. Wow, we hardly even saw that. 24-10. In the 3rd quarter, they get a pick. They could come back into this right now as they get another touchdown. 24-17. 3rd and 5. 4th and 5. Oh my gosh, and the Broncos might tie it up here, and they do just that. Oh, they missed a PAT. 24-23. We just need to get another first down, and we do that with BIJAN Robinson getting the 7-yard rush. 24-23. We're trying to run out this clock. 3rd and 1. We get stopped on 4th and 1, and we go for it with BIJAN, and we trusted him. And we're going to run out this clock, another first down, and we're going to win the Super Bowl with BIJAN Robinson. Finally, towards the end of his career, he's finally going to win one. Oh, wow. Wow. I did not think that we were going to win a Super Bowl. It looked all but over, to be honest with you. I really thought that we weren't going to win one with BIJAN, and the Falcons were just going to suck throughout this whole simulation. But it's very, very good seeing it. And Greg Bentley wins Super Bowl MVP. I feel like BIJAN should have won it off of default, but Arthur Smith, who is us, wins Coach of the Year. CJ Stroud is now in the Cowboys. Okay. Win by 1 point in the Super Bowl. BIJAN gets his Super Bowl, and he can basically retire happy at this point. And BIJAN's down to an 84 overall towards the end of his contract. At least he used his last bit of, I guess, overall or just talent to win that Super Bowl because we needed it. We definitely needed it, and so is Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is going down. We just have to finish off his career at this point. And we end up going 7-10. Ugh. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at the end of BIJAN's career. 85 overall. Think he's in his last year of his contract next year? Yeah. 2037 is this year, I'm almost certain. And next year is 2038. It doesn't seem like he is. Oh, actually, no, 2036. So we still have 2 more years of doing this with BIJAN. Kind of went at a high of highs, and now we're at a low of lows. BIJAN had 1,100 yards and 9 TDs, which still isn't bad, but he's down to an 84 overall. We're going to simulate to the offseason, simulate to actually next season, to be honest with you, because I don't think we're going to make any moves in order to help him out as much as possible, just because there's not really much to do at this point. Oh, and BIJAN retired. Oh my gosh, I did not think that he was actually going to retire before the contract was up. League transactions. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Kyle Pitts retires. BIJAN Robinson retires after 15 years in the league. That's tough to see. That's tough to see. As much as it was painful for a while, we got the touchdown. We got the Super Bowl with him. Yeah, it's time for me to go to sleep. We got the Super Bowl with him. We got to look at his NFL records, if anything. So look at rushing yards. BIJAN Robinson was top 3 all-time with 20,000 in his career. Rushing touchdowns, he was top 5, even with Algier. I don't care. I don't want to know. Just deal with it. BIJAN Robinson had almost 180, top 5. Receiving, I wouldn't expect him to do much, but top 3 in rushing yards and top 5 in rushing touchdowns is not bad at all. He spent his entire career with the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, that's tough, man. That's tough. I thought he was going to play out this contract, but he definitely retired early with Kyle Pitts, so it makes the most sense. But if you did enjoy that, please go down there, like and subscribe for me. Like so more people can see it, and subscribe so you don't miss out on more content like this. Let me know who else you want me to re-simulate or simulate in general. Madden 24, I'm planning to do this a lot more, but more organized. Right now, it's kind of test run. So it's like a beta, to be honest. So let me know what you want to see. Let me know what specifically you want to see better in these simulations. But yeah, I will see you in the next video. Peace.